I think we're trying to figure out how I
Back in 20.
get this. Thank you. How I get a copy of it. But if you're not able to watch the stream, if there's a way I can get them to give me a copy or something that I can post and show. So, stream died. Oik, oik. Maybe that's what that was. The stream died, did it?
Yeah, it says it's going to start in 4 minutes.
Huh. On
YouTube.
Okay. On YouTube. That's weird. Oh, because you have to reload your page or something. I don't know what happened. Did I get kicked off because I was talking about the Arizona recount? Just by bringing it up?
There you are.
That's entirely possible. Did it come back up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whoops, what am I doing? I'm not good. Quit it.
Gotta say your Airbnb has a really badass background.
Yes, I'm in the basement. That was weird. FPS 30, that's weird. It seems like it's running. Did I lose you guys?
It's running now.
Okay. Back, that was weird. Yeah, just refresh yourselves. Refresh yourself right now. Refresh yourself right now. Okay, so I just checked it and it came back up. All right. I don't need these kind of problems. I'm dealing with enough just being in Florida. Okay. Hurrah! Yes, let everybody in the chat know to reload. Okay, reloaded Twitch unfrozen. Hooray! That wasn't me. That was some other thing. The pause that refreshes. Go away. Will you? Don't call me in the middle of the show. Yay. Going to YouTube. Works for me. What did I miss? Florida Man. I can't sing that on my own show. Have you watched it? Did you see Florida Man? I forget.
Yeah, I got a preview of it.
Oh, now
last week.
Why do I lose you again? This is weird. My AirPod ices. Yeah, so there we go. I should be okay. Hello. Do not. Okay, are we back? I think we're back. I don't know, because Chicago, are we back? I think we might be. It's entirely possible. Are we indeed? I beg your pardon. I thought we were back, and I hope we're back, because I want to be, I desperately, the important thing is that that I feel like we're back, and that's the important thing. Johnny, I don't know if you've been keeping track of this ridiculous Arizona concept that we have, over and over.
I've seen some headlines, but I haven't dug into it.
Okay, so there is it is hard to break down what, besides the fact that the state legislatures in a lot of the states, that the Republicans were shocked that Trump won, and that sent them into a right panic, quite frankly, about this, about the election. When Biden won, that went, how is this possible? This man is the second coming himself. This guy is the greatest Republican ever to have existed. This man is the perfect example of the perfect. He's the Ubermensch. He's the perfect Republican. He's everything he touches turns to gold. Well, I guess gold leafing or gold paint. Everything he touches turns to gold lead paint.
Gold plated.
Yes, everything. Yeah, everything he touches turns to fool's gold. He's the man with the iron sulfide touch, and they could not understand how a split ticket worked, and had in many times in American history have people said, I like the Democrat or the Republican that's running. However, I don't like all their policies, and I do think there should be some sort of balance in between. So I'm going to split the ticket. I'm going to vote for the president, and then I'm going to vote for my regular party for the rest of them, or I'm going to vote for the other party's president, and I'm going to vote, or my party's president and the other parties all mix and match like an independent crowd. And the reality of the number of Democrats who've shifted, or Republicans rather, who've shifted to becoming either Democrats or independents over the last little bit does explain the what I would call the Trump effect on actual voters, not on elected officials, which is incredibly ironic considering how Republicans talk about Washington, D.C. If you listen to Republicans themselves who work in Washington, D.C. and have...
Chicago still doesn't have us. Sorry.
Oh, I beg... Chicago does
Devin
not...
sent me a note.
Oh, I see. I should be back on. Chicago, beg your pardon. I'm reloading that. I had no indication that we were off on there. Chicago, are you... we are gathering you back again. Chicago, are you there? We're getting connected to them. There we are. Chicago, hello. I feel like now I'm talking to... Now I'm Larry King. Chicago, hello.
Hello.
And insofar as I know...
Live.
Thank you. Chicago, hi. Well, thanks for fixing that. We had a momentary audio ditch out or something. I appeared connected and yet was not. I mean,
I blame Florida.
It was like a second date. I thought there was a connection. I was mistaken. So what we were talking about was the fact that the Republican Party has psychologically invested in Donald Trump from the second he came down that escalator. They talk about it in such glowing terms that it is if they are giving an example of he walked on water, or of a man sitting on a throne. They discuss the escalator as if it were a throne. And in many ways, as those who have listened to my recent streams from here and got this lovely little message from Glenn Beck.
Stop using the word democracy.
Which is, was part of his argument that we don't live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. Which is, I would guess, in court you would say that that's not the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but it's a functional one for the narrative that he wants to push. That this is what they are talking about. That in many ways this is the return of the king. That Donald Trump exemplifies the return to landowners making real decisions over the rabble. Now, never mind the fact that he doesn't really own a lot of land. He certainly not as much as they think he does.
He owns a lot of signs.
Yeah, he owns a lot of billboards, and big giant letters attached to buildings that other people own, because he basically brands his the Trump image based on what his father built. He's a second generation rich kid. He behaves exactly like that. So yeah. They have invested so much in the idea that not only is Trump sort of this messianic character, but they can't fathom how anyone else would think otherwise. They are shocked that anyone is offended or grossed out or finds him morally reprehensible. Considering,
and they also deny that they worship him as such, and but then they wonder why somebody who voted for Biden doesn't hold him up on a pedestal the same way they do with Trump.
Yes, because there's a difference between looking for a leader and a messiah, and there's a difference between wanting a competent president and quote unquote a leader. I don't actually need a leader. I need someone to take point on something. That's different than a leader. I need someone to help carry out the will of the electorate in a competent way with a balanced view of people that may have a disagreeing view, so that when things are changed, when we make an advance, that the backlash to it doesn't either have a lot of reason behind it, that they were given an opportunity to voice their concerns, they were given an opportunity to express their concerns, and they lost the argument genuinely, and that they were able to participate, so they weren't just sidelined and therefore can complain that their constitutional rights were violated in the expression of society moving forward, That's why you bring these folks into the circle. That's why you do it, so that you can protect your own values, your own laws that pass. I want to jump into this Arizona recount thing.
Oh yeah.
But we got to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the fact that these folks it is impossible for many of them to believe that they were wrong. And their beliefs about Trump and his capabilities and his messianic qualities are a result not of, them being able to see reality as it is, but their own delusion. And so asking them to face the fact that he lost is asking a delusional person to understand they are delusional. They are mad. They are insane. They are fools. And that's a big hit to the ego. We'll be back right after this. Yeah. So let's see what's causing this thing. Okay, yes. I don't want, whatever you do, I don't want you to take do not in any way try to use my headphones, because that's what the problem is. I think because of the multiple inputs and outputs that I have, the safer thing might be to use my hardline headphones instead of my, because what happened is if I shut my iPad off, or it turns off on its own, can you say hello just so I can hear you?
Hello, 1 2 1 2.
There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna use old-fashioned wired headphones so that I don't
just to eliminate that troubleshooting.
Yeah. So that if the iPad decides to go off and come back on, it doesn't auto-connect to my headphones, trying to do me a favor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Chuck. Look at that. Look at that. What was it? Long-time listener, first-time payer. Thanks, Al, Johnny, and all the others who make this possible. Oh, thank you so much, Chuck. That's really awesome. Have people been welcoming back Gonzo? Have they been talking to him? You good, Gonzo? I hope you're well. I hope you stayed healthy during this whole craziness. I have to. So let me see if I can send you this.
Back in 20.
If you send it on Skype, I can pull it up in my laptop browser.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let me grab this then. Copy, and then open a. Where's the chat? There it is. Open the chat. There you go. Hello, chat.
This is Doris Davenport, host of The Doris Davenport Show, all local, all the time. Now let's get back to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Yeah, let's. So, we have all seen over the last few years this kind of bizarre need for Republicans to not just believe that Donald Trump's a good example of a Republican, a great president for their cause, tax cuts and yada yada, kind of trickle-down economics, the standardized Republican thing that's just more capable as a human being of getting it through because he's got charisma or something like that. I mean, that would be an argument, however ridiculous, because I find him to be the most repulsive person to listen to, this side of Jim Jordan. That, you know what I mean? Just insofar as human-to-human interaction. And understand that the Apprentice and the Celebrity Apprentice, the root of those shows and what their success was based on was not, here's this successful guy helping people learn how to become successful. People write books to do that, or they hold seminars to teach you a skill that you may not have on sales or what have you. The root of those shows and the success of those shows, in many ways, as is The Bachelor or Survivor, the root is embarrassment. The root is, this is a wholly embarrassing circumstance. where it works like a game show. There is a winner, but what you really tune in for is to see someone shamed, essentially. And the basic shame of Survivor is all the crap they have to do that was borderline fear factor, and them cutting against each other, and someone being called out by a group in a very high school way. The Bachelor's about who gets rejected, not about who gets together. That's why there's one episode at the end with the actual joining of the couple that becomes a farce later on. The entirety of the series is the embarrassed rejection of every member of those people over the course of the show. The same thing is true of The Apprentice. That what you really are tuning in for, it's kind of, this is one of the tricks of television, is give the audience what they want, not what they think they want. Because if you give them what they think they want, show's over. If Scully and Mulder kiss, the show is done. You have to almost. The minute you get to where you've solved it, the audience doesn't tune in to see it solved. They tune in for the tension of will it be solved, the excitement of maybe this is the day. And by dragging that out, that's how you keep them on the line. The same thing is true of these reality shows that are, the Gene Simmons Family Jewels and those kind of shows. Those are referred to as docu-soaps. Meaning that they're fake documentary, meaning it's real people. They're using their real names, but they're soaps. They're crafted. They're written. The storylines are fake. They make up conflict. They artificially create circumstances where they do. The Kardashians are built on that entire function. The reality show, the game show that Trump hosted, The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice, is about the and the reason they went to The Celebrity Apprentice was because it became less and less embarrassing for the average citizen to be told what to do by Donald Trump. It's a little silly and it's stupid, but you're not going to actually be effective or, learning from him. And people were aware of that watching the show. So you bring in celebrities who actually have more weight and more, in a lot of ways, more business skill than Trump does, many of whom were more financially successful, and then to have them stand on a street corner trying to sell hot dogs or what nonsense that Trump sends them to do, like the P. Diddy sketch on Chappelle's show, that sending them for Ethiopian breast milk on the other side of town, and before they can get, or he's going to shut the studio down. That's what those shows are about, right? And so the very idea that people would get advice from Donald Trump on how to conduct their business is at its root embarrassing. Mm-hmm. He's been a failure his entire adult life. He had a $300,000, I think it was, salary when he was 11, so his father could hide tax money. So he could avoid taxes. He ran the company into the ground and stole it away from his brother, and needed to borrow $56 million from the trust fund of his siblings just for operating cash, just to keep the lights on, not to expand, not to pay off some debt, but just to keep the things rolling. And when he ran out of money, he started looking for it in the sketchiest of places, and a lot of that is coming up in the next couple of years, and he does not have it. The money that he is gathering from his super PAC, which he's going to be using to pay his debts, is not going to be used to help get Republicans elected in 2022. It's an absurdity. Everybody knows this in the Republican Party, but yet there is this very bizarre thing where Kevin McCarthy and all these people are going down to Mar-a-Lago and kissing his ring. Now, are they really kissing his ring? Or are they, effectively, kissing the ring of the lunatic fringe of the Republican Party, the maggots and Trumpsters who will follow this man in a cult-like way? Is there sort of a ricochet off the kissing of the ring that you're like, I'm going down there to pay homage to Trump, not because I think he can give me anything, because he's going to spend all the money he gathers. His rallies are just going to be about him. Every interview he does is a gripe fest and a rehash of the fact that he lost the election fair and square. Seriously. It's so embarrassing. And he's now moved into, Grandpa has told the same 3 stories over and over. Yeah. And he tells the ramp story in every interview.
Oh, really? The one where he was walked down the ramp?
Yeah, that it was ice, and that it was pouring rain, which it clearly was not. That it was slippery like ice. That the whole thing, and that he ran the last 10 feet. Like, he's telling the story in almost like a tick. Like your grandpa tells stories, and you're like, yeah, that's the third time we've heard it at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we know Grandpa.
Yes. So he does this. There's nothing to be gained from him in person. He's not going to give them some advice on fiscal policy or economics or how to get their version of what infrastructure should be through the process. He doesn't know anything about that, nor does he have any interest in doing it. He's now moved on to his own deals in foreign countries that he was able to kind of set up while he was president. That's what he's hoping for. Unfortunately, his best buddy, Vladimir Putin, may actually be ill. And therefore, while he's setting himself up to be president for the next, till 2036, that may have just been a show to cover the fact that he may not be capable of running the country within a year or two because of alleged medical issues that he has. So, when Kevin McCarthy and all these people go down, and McCarthy may be the odd man out in that he actually might believe the sun shines out of Donald Trump's backside. The rest of them go down to kiss his ring because they want the maggots and the Trumpsters to know that they are being heard. That this is how you do it instead of going to actual constituencies. Because if you go to talk to these people directly, if any of these folks go directly to the MAGA folks, they have to stand there while they yell stuff about Trump actually won the election and all this stuff. You have to stand. I mean, even Matt Gaetz, not too far from where I am right now, was doing one of these little mini parking lot rally things, and all of the questions asked were about he really won and hydroxychloroquine. I mean, they were cultists because that's the only, and they think that this is reflective of the Republican electorate. Not that it's reflective of the only people that are showing up at Republican gatherings now because everyone sensible has left. No, you know what I mean? Like,
everyone else is embarrassed.
Right. Why would you go? Right. So the Arizona Republicans, who apparently their election that got them their position was completely legitimate. The fact that they won their seat in 2020, that's completely legitimate. The fact that Biden won the presidency is illegitimate. The fact that a Democrat won the Senate seat, that's completely illegitimate. So, hence recount. So they are, they're down there right now over the weekend doing a recount, the fourth so far. And I've heard some reports referring to it as an audit, some as a recount. There are a couple of main issues, being that those are two wholly different things. And they are either doing both, one or neither. And it looks like in many ways they are doing neither, because I would, in watching all the Rudy Giuliani stuff that I have had to watch over the last year, and watching all the Trump, wailing and gnashing of teeth that he has done, their complaint is that, the ballot boxes in Georgia that were hidden under a table, which were actually tabulation documents that were uploaded so that Steve Kornacki had something to talk about that had nothing to do with actual votes being added or subtracted, but makes a great story because it looks like something sketchy happened after everybody left, even though there's cameras all over the facility, and they had to have known that there was cameras all over the facility, whatever. Like, they seem to believe that if there was a plot, that the people carrying it out would be as slapdash as that about the presidency of the United States. That they would just go, oh, crap, wait a minute, there's security cameras in here? Like, that, really? That, So, it was a coordination with multitudes of, Iran, China, Russia, all came together to manipulate black volunteers in Georgia so that after hours they would sneak votes in a county that Biden was clearly going to win anyways, like that kind of thing. So Arizona Senate Republicans are doing a hand count right now, a hand recount of 2.1 million Maricopa County ballots. They are doing this with no press observation. So all that stuff you hear about what, the Biden administration not letting the press into the border facilities, the Biden administration keeping the press out of that's really the only one I've heard of, because Trump did a lot of that as well, and they seem to ignore that. But the primary one being that they're not allowing the press in at all to view what they're doing. Now, there's a reason why you don't have close-up cameras on stuff as ballots are being counted, I suppose, because they're hand-filled out in Arizona and Maricopa County, and so, and thus
privacy.
brings, yes, privacy, exactly. The main problem, of course, being is that the one reporter who signed up as an observer was tweeting early in the day, and then they made her stop, that the volunteers were using black and blue, they had blue pens at their stations. And it says very distinctly in the rules of recounts and handling of ballots that there should be not only no electronic devices, people can't have their phones in and the like, but they also can't have black or blue pens, because those are the pens that are used for the Scantron style documents that they run through the counting machines in Maricopa County. And so, for 3 days, Republicans who believe Trump won have these are not just random counters. These are not just independent observers. These are people hired by and paid for Republicans who are using volunteers, which are not independent volunteers, that are partisan volunteers. Every one of the people who signed up through this group to do this believes Trump won or should have won or did win or will win or is winning or is now the magic president of the new corporate, the Republic of America, and Biden is the president of the Corporation of America, that kind of nonsense.
It's harder and harder to conjugate those words.
It's a lot. It's a lot. There's been a lot of splintering in these factions. But these people are partisan, and they spent the better part of 3 days since Wednesday doing a recount with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of ballots with blue and black pens right there that will, if they so chose, if they found a ballot that didn't have the presidency marked on it, let's say there's a Republican who didn't like Trump, so they just left it blank. Well, there's a free bubble. And they have every ability to fill that in because they had the pens available to do it, and that would actually work. And then they run it through the recount thing again. And magically, if we can find 10,000 of those in the 2.1 million over the course of however long this is going to take, there's no limit on it insofar as I know. Can we bring it closer? Can we say we found 1,000? So if we found 1,000, we can assume that we only found 10%. So therefore, nullify, therefore, full redo of the election. It will turn out the exact same way. I'm not concerned about this. I'm not actually concerned about the results. I'm concerned about the shenanigans. We have to take a break.
Right.
We'll be back right after this. This is this stuff is amazing. Like the fact, here, I'll open it up for the chat room to see this. This is from the Arizona Central. Let's see. The morning was spent. Okay. Audit got off to a late start after the morning was spent seeing that the computer software was programmed correctly to review ballots, that forms had the correct fields or ballot trackers to fill out, and that the ballot counters and supervisors were trained. So none of them were trained. They showed up just like, okay, point me in the way of counting. Counters had made it through about 150 ballots by 1 p.m. and were still working on their first box. There were 46 pallets of boxes and 1,691 boxes of ballots. Although some of the boxes do not have ballots in them, said Megan Gilbertson, those would be the tabulation documents, which you would go through, first and establish that, is the tabulation different from the actual ballot. So what you do is you go look at you redo the tabulation. And then when you redo that, you go, okay, this is what the tabulation said. Now let's go look at the ballots and see if they line up with what we saw that the tabulator said. And then if they didn't, we go back and look at the tabulations to see where the discrepancy was. Is it in how they were loaded? Did somebody physically do this? Then we look at the signatures that were attached to these ballots. Do they, of the people who filled them out, the forms that went with them. I did this stack. I was a volunteer. Okay, if there's a discrepancy in this box, who ran that box? Right, that kind of stuff. This is obviously, it's quite obvious to anybody who cares to pay attention. Ken Bennett, the Senate's appointed liaison for the audit and the former Secretary of State, said on the audit floor that he saw a few ways to improve the process, but that he was not in charge. He said that Cyber Ninjas, the group that Senate hired to perform the work, and their contractors decided how the audit would be run. Great. No county staff was on hand to explain how ballots were stored or how voting machines were programmed. Journalists were denied specific access to report or record the process, although Arizona Republic and other media outlets have joined together. Thank you. Seeking the reporters immediate access to the Coliseum to observe the audit of the ballots and the tabulating. And for now, this reporter signed up as a volunteer. Lack of procedures concerns Democratic Party. You think?
This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio, Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
So, obviously, the Democratic Party of Arizona has taken issue with this, and they were not because of the audit or a recount, because there have been four, I think. Well, 3 recounts and 1 audit. They've sat by while these have gone on. They've participated in them and said, okay, well, it has to match these standards, but they have to go ahead. This one, they're obviously a little concerned about because it's not being run by the Senate. It's being run by this private group that's paid for with murky donors that's never done this before. And the volunteers are using writing implements that can change the ballots and have been for days. And granted, I guess the upside is that they're doing this so slowly because because they are partisan activists, because the people that are calling this, that basically every time they come across a Biden vote, they're going to throw it against the wall and see if they can find a way to get it kicked out. And there are so many Biden votes because it's a full-on half plus of the votes in Maricopa County. Of the 2.1 million, it's 1,500,000 / little bitty extra, the 10,000 extra that made him win that county, that they're going to run across a bunch of these. And every time they run across a Biden vote, they're going to be upset. They're going to be emotionally disturbed by the idea that anybody, maybe one of their neighbors or somebody who lives in this county in a state like Arizona that is a border state and has obviously MS-13 storming across the border using babies as shields, that how could anyone in Maricopa County vote for this person, so it must be fake. And so one of the reasons why they are dragging in this process is because they are going to try and kick out every single Biden vote they come across. Legitimate votes by legitimate voters in Maricopa County that are being adjudicated in such a way that carpetbaggers and foreign entities, foreign to the state, are rolling in there to tell people of Maricopa County whether or not their vote is real or not. And the fact that, before I feel maybe some people might be feeling a little tension about this, like concern, have none. Even with the most egregious form of shenanigans that these folks would try to buy, even if they started throwing things across, what was that noise? And then they start scribbling in, writing in Trump on as many ballots as they can. They're not going to, in their shenanigans, overturn the circumstances in Maricopa County. What they're going to do, if it's an honest recount, they will more than likely find more Biden votes, as every recount has done. If they find that
it's gotta be so embarrassing.
If there are 500 votes that they come across that weren't counted or didn't get counted that they want to get counted, it will be 100 for Trump and 400 for Biden, and they will go, damn it, why did we have to do this? just like Wisconsin, just like Michigan, just like Georgia. Everywhere they look, if they add Trump votes, they also add more Biden votes. It is simply votes that were being kicked out, and that's the reality. The other thing is that I have no idea why anyone, and this is, I guess this speaks to the maggots and Trumpsters and the Giulianis of the world, would you trust a recount where Trump had won, but Biden supporters hired a private George Soros-related company with opaque hiring practices to bring in Democratic operatives from all over the country?
They do not have the ability to go down that line of thinking.
Clearly
it's
not.
So frustrating.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Democratic operatives spent 4 days using pens in a thing where they wouldn't allow, they got to vet the observers themselves. No one got to post anything, as it was happening in terms of the observers. So you there would be no contemporaneous record of, hey, I noticed these guys are using blue and black pens, when that is exactly what you would use if you were trying to manipulate the votes. Can you imagine if a Republican, if Project Veritas or Ben Shapiro had sent someone in and they were live tweeting what was going on, and Democratic operatives were using blue and black pens for 4 days during a recount?
I might grab a Fox News headline.
Yeah, that might be that would be a month of YouTube clickbait if you ever saw any. It would be extraordinary. So, watching this play out, I want to remind everyone that if you have any emotional investment in the quality of our democracy, and that you are concerned at all about the outcome, I want you to fear not. I'm sorry, Mike Lindell. I know you're watching. In between carpet farming, I suppose. I need to assure you, nothing is going to upend the election. In August, Donald Trump is not going to seize power or be reinstalled as the true president. None of that is happening. Joe Biden was elected fair and square. He's going to stay president. We all live in reality. You can inhabit a fantasy Waco world if you want to, but it is not going to affect the reality that the rest of us live in, no matter how much you screaming and wailing and gnashing of teeth you want. It's simply not going to, because you are fighting reality. And you can wrestle with reality all you want, but the effectiveness of this recount would be, as at best, as effective as putting a light bulb in your rectum to cure COVID, and at worst, an attempt to pour bleach in your mouth to fight COVID. It is an attack on democracy, not a support of democracy. These folks, and this is all based on the idea that they cannot imagine that they were wrong. Yeah. They cannot fathom that the rest of us, even a lot of Republicans who like the tax policy and want more conservative Supreme Court judges, even those that held their nose and voted for Trump, view him as vile, as incompetent, as at best a clownish bully, and at worst a xenophobic serial sexual assaulter. With an absolute disdain for any human life that he doesn't believe is of quality. This is the fight that's going on. Donald Trump is not the current leader of the Republican Party. Madness is. Madness is the current. They are not kissing the ring of this dude. They know when they go down there. They know he spouts gibberish. They know he starts rambling. They know he's got fish delight sauce all over his shirt, and they know he cheats at golf. They are kissing the ring of madness. We'll be back after the news, and our phone number 773-763-9278, 773-763-9278. Thank you, Angelica. Thanks, guys. You know how important language is to me as the root of a lot of my stand-up. And so when they talk about him being the leader of the Republican Party, as if it's a party, as if it's a functioning party, because if it was a party, there'd be snacks. If it was a party, they at least one of them in the Senate would have to vote in line with 60% of the Republican electorate.
You would think.
There might be a conservative ideology in the country, but the Republican Party doesn't represent it at all. You can argue that when the Democratic Party leans more progressive or leans more liberal, it does not represent fully the belief systems of those, but it incorporates those kind of things. And there is a mixture of people in there that sort of jockey for what the best plan is. That's why democracy lives and dies currently within the confines of the Democratic Party. But when it comes to the Republican Party, they are wholesale voting against the will of their own voters. They are voting with the most egregious minority of conservative or Republican voters. It has nothing to do with having a Republican Party or a platform or anything. That part of it is amazing to me. And they can
just go to sleep at night knowing this stuff.
Sure. Well, I mean, there is in the Paul Ryan kind of suck up to that particular group of people, get a tax cut, and then leave the House in time to get the benefits of the tax cut. And then once the tax cut is repealed, run for office again to get it put back in, and then go back to private industry to benefit from the tax cut. I mean, you could argue that is exactly Paul Ryan's plan. As I think the youngest Speaker of the House, stop doing it, go back to business, go, hey, I made a living in business, I'm the new Trump, and then run for office in 2024 or a few years later if you don't, run for the Senate seat in your state and those kind of things. So, there's a strategy in there's a sucker born every minute, and that there's a financial benefit to running on populist themes to get yourself a tax cut and then going. That is a cohesive, if not vile, election scheme or party scheme. Run on faux populism, get yourself a tax cut, go enjoy the tax cut. That's a plan. And they don't even bother to hide that a lot of times.
It's a tale as old as time.
Exactly. But yeah. But when you look at what they allege as far as, while they're in office, I don't know what the plan is. I mean, even going back to 28% as the tax is not something that Republicans previously would have even fought. They would go, oh, okay, we can pay for some of the stuff that we did because what we did was great. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm always fighting with how people describe it. You know what I mean? Like, right. I don't mind if you're honest about stuff, and I almost don't mind if you, if you're just kind of an abject liar, because that's easy to spot as well. That's at least a clear path. It's oh yeah, okay. This is a scam. You know what I mean?
Back in 20.
At least it means you have. Thank you. It means you're aware of the moral. I mean, again, it's almost like, attention. Are you sane enough to stand trial? There is a question as to whether Republicans are currently sane enough to stand trial. Yeah.
You're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at halsparks.com.
I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Puss-faced little pimpstick.
True progressive talk.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
So, let me be abundantly clear. While all this nonsense is going on, while this ridiculousness, that we're dealing with in terms of Republicans doing yet another recount that will yet again fail, in terms of the Arizona recount, or trying to get another bite at the apple of Georgia, perhaps, or Pennsylvania, down the line, which will, again, fail, be a waste of time, and is really the main purpose of it, if it has any at all, is to continue to seed doubt about 2020. That if only we'd had one, if they didn't let us do this one thing, if we could have gone back and looked at this, there's a nearly infinite number of complaints they could fabricate to make up things that they should have been able to do and that they weren't allowed to do. I guess the main one being they weren't allowed to continue using blue and black pens to draw on ballots in ways that would change the outcome of the election and the ballots that they're reviewing. That said, one would hope that there are some, allegedly, according to this group, there are some veterans and others that are involved in this, and though they may be Trump supporters, perhaps they're better angels as veterans who fought for democracy in their, in the theater of war over time. And I know.
Stop using the word democracy.
I know. One would wonder what Tucker Carlson would have us use instead.
I like wood.
I'm not using that instead of. Anyways, I'm just glad they're here.
Great to be with you, Dick.
Thanks, Ted. While this Arizona recount is going on,
oh yeah, that's normal.
That's, by the way, Mike Lindell talking about the elections.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Over the course of this time, Joe Biden, the current president of the United States of America, the leader of the free world, has issued more sanctions against Russia in the last, I think, 3 weeks than Donald Trump did in his entire presidency, even though the acts that Biden is sanctioning them for happened during Trump's presidency, and has been successful in the Russians have retreated from the Ukrainian border. They have left some munitions there, and it was a show of strength, but they're not leaving those soldiers parked there indefinitely. They have withdrawn in the last week, which is, one would say that after Biden has a couple of calls with Putin, in a normal view of American history, if this were the 80s or the 90s or even the early 2000s, a series of sanctions and a few phone calls from between the president of the United States and Russia that led to troops being withdrawn from a border would have been seen as part of the process, as part of the policy of the administration in the United States being carried out, and a reaction by a foreign leader who was trying to do a show of strength, and they had withdrawn. Had this withdrawal happened during Trump, he would have gone, see, I have a great relationship with Putin. We're good friends. He pulled these people back because he respects me. Now it's just he did it because he's just tired of them sitting there. Yes, and thank you, Benny Loco, for the recount super chat, which is of course Biden, which is what happens during recounts all the time, and is one of the scariest noises that a Republican in a recount can ever hear. Biden, Trump, Biden. So, by the way, we have 4 new. Summer took in 4 new kittens while I'm in Florida. They just got off being bottle fed.
4 fosters?
Yeah, 4 fosters, and they're adorable. I'm so mad I'm not there. They're super cute. So, and they just purr.
I haven't met an ugly kitten.
They purr and I have. Oh, Frank hated my guts. The ironic name that we had a foster named Frank who just fist at me and hissed and hated me. I had to use feral gloves on him the entire time he was in the house.
Oh, wow.
Poor thing. Because I was the one who held him when he had to get medicine, so he held that grudge against me forever. So,
yeah.
But meanwhile, Biden is busy doing president stuff. He got the exact aid package that he presented passed. He is going to get ready for it, folks, he is going to get a $2.25 trillion infrastructure bill passed, which would be like if imagine if Trump were president and instead of infrastructure, it was the military. We were building warships and tanks and airplanes to strafe bomb and push back against the military leaders of the world, who apparently he has a great relationship with. I don't even know why you would even need these things, because he knows how to talk to these folks. But we spent an equal amount building up our military in peacetime, renewing all of our nukes, right? The ability to destroy the rest of the world 9 times over was a completely valid use of... 9 times. Ooh.
Sorry, that's my Ferris Bueller Tourette's.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, 9 days from defending your life. How many days are you looking at? 9? Oof. So I'm going to get you some wine. So over the, while they're wailing and gnashing of teeth about Trump is really president and he'll be back in August and any day now, and just relax. And all the prophets, all the psycho prophets have all been right. He's still president. They were right. Jesus told me through an antenna I super glued to the top of my head that Biden is not. He's a fake president. He's a baby eater. And Trump is still president. And he's going to be in Arizona and blah, blah, blah. We're going to win here. And then, we're going to win in Maricopa. Right. That over the course of doing that, while that's happening, Biden has doubled the number of people he was planning on vaccinating in his first 100 days. They have, they are, getting kids back to school. They're going to have 100% of schools going back to normal by the fall. Everybody. Like, we go back to school next year, everybody goes full-time. Colleges, universities, community colleges, vocational, kindergarten through, K through 12. Everybody's going back by the fall, no matter what. And a lot of summer school pickup will be done in person because you won't have to do it via remote, because it'll be a great way for kids to get back together and hang out with their friends over the summer and get back to non-remote learning, right? So Biden's busy doing that. This week, he recognized the Armenian genocide. First president in American history to recognize, sorry, Cenk, sorry, TYT, sorry, that must have bummed you out this week, but, because, they're named after the people who carried it out. It's a little rough. Biden is literally the first person to recognize that a million Armenians were murdered because they were Armenian, and that is a genocide. Seems pretty easy, and yet, first guy to do it. And I'm telling you, Biden is going to get his infrastructure bill passed. And in it, he's going to raise the corporate tax rate and the personal tax rate above people making $400,000 a year. He's gonna, and by the way, up to $400,000, you're not paying on that first $400,000. It's the part that goes over. So if you make $400,090, you're gonna be paying 28% on that 90. You know what I mean? So the people who are really mad about this don't make anywhere close to $400,000 a year or $800,000 a year even. There, and the number of ways that people do that, where they diversify that, where the number of LLCs. Go look up how many LLCs the Trump family has. It's nearly 1 per project since he's been alive, because that's how you gonna bifurcate all your tax stuff out into smaller and smaller slices, so they, you pay, and then you can write it off. Oh yeah, well this company made this money, but it was totally not profitable. If you jam 6 of them together, you'll recognize that there was profit, But there's, if you recognize all 5 of these companies are one company, there's profit there. If you spread it out over multiple companies, there's no profit. They're all eating crap. I get a refund. That's how he got $76 million back from the government, and why they fought him on it, and why that phony conversation he always said, I'm under audit. We've got an audit. We're doing this audit. The audit, he wasn't under audit. The audit had happened. They went, oh, we did an audit. You need to give us that $76 million back. And Trump went, I already spent it, and you can't have it. And so we're going to fight it. They were fighting the results of an audit. He wasn't under audit this entire time. He was trying to find every way possible not to pay back a $76 million tax refund he didn't earn on taxes he never paid in the first place. So, but let's not forget, the sun shines out of his backside, and Biden is illegitimate and is incapable of yada yada, and he's got dementia, and he can't. It's not a stutter. He just doesn't know where he is, and other people are telling him what to do, even though the policies that he's implementing are exactly what he ran on, are much to the chagrin of the people he ran against initially, and yet he's effectively getting them what they want just through another methodology without undermining the entire business structure of the United States that's made us a successful economy forever. Without getting rid of that, you can still benefit everyone. How about we just work on making the good parts available to everybody instead of just trying to take the good parts away? This has basically been Biden's argument as far as economic stuff, and it's working. And it's infuriating Republicans, because what do they have to do? They have to face every day that there's currently anyways, a Biden boom going on. And if the infrastructure bill gets passed, it will get legs. The infrastructure bill, the rescue package, will salvage the American economy from the dents and damage and cuts it took during COVID. The infrastructure package will give life and legs and longevity to the economy, the Biden economy, which is what he's shooting for. And he's not asking for a 40% tax rate or a 60 or a 90% tax rate. He's asking for a mitigatory middle point between these two. Between what it was at 35, what it went to at 21, going to 28. And yet, the Republicans have to run on, this is massive socialism, this is massive communism, these are all Marxists, he's the left of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders could never wish for something that he's seeing here. This is the fear of the Republican Party right now, is that they themselves are kissing the ring of madness and projecting that madness onto the other side because they can't come to terms with the fact that they are just flat out wrong. We'll be back. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. Yikes. How's everybody doing in the chat, you guys? Yeah, I look tired? Thanks very much. I am tired.
Wow.
These are long hours. I need some sleep. But what are you going to do? I had 2 3-hour rehearsals yesterday and a regular show, and and then life also. Like, I got to go feed myself in a strange town and that kind of stuff. So, long hours and long hair. That's right.
Back in 20.
Thank you. So, I'll get some sleep at some point. I don't have as bad an hours. It's the weekend. So, technically, we have a rehearsal tonight. and then I have like line jamming tomorrow, which will not be my whole day. It'll be kind of middle of the day, so I can sleep in and go to bed earlier.
This is Tom Hartman, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
We were just having a discussion during the break about how tired I look, considering I'm down here in Florida, which is in its own way tiring. I'm in, I'm in Floribama. I'm not in what you think of. When most people think of Florida, they really do think of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, probably, unfortunately, Mar-a-Lago. I often think of Key West because of the movie Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, which, one of my favorites of all time. It's one of my, happy, joy movies. Like, I can put that on.
I've got to see that one again.
It's just so good. And, God bless Gregory Hines. Rest in peace. He is one of the single most talented people to ever walk the earth, both as a dancer and as an actor, and just as his charming personality, his naturalistic acting. He is one of my heroes, always has been. He and Jerry Reed, in a lot of ways, are these guys who you put in a movie, and even though they supposedly come from a background that's not acting, just eat the lunch of all the trained actors around them because they're just so relaxed on screen. Mm-hmm. They're just so them. And from, Wolfen to History of the World Part 1 to White Knights to Running Scared, Gregory Hines is, He was
in Wolfen?
Yeah. With,
wow.
Yeah. He was, and he was in Deal of the Century. Remember let me give you a little touch-up on your flame job. I mean, come on. So, anyways, I watch Running Scared and enjoy it. And so I often think of, being in Key West. I picture, Key West. Thank you, Norman. Norman saying, you look marvelous, Hal, as always. Well, thank you. I do look a little bit tired. I understand that. But I'm running myself a bit ragged right now. But I am in Floribama right now in Tallahassee for the Southern Shakespeare Festival, and I am going to be performing Malvolio in 12th Night, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th down here in Tallahassee. And if you want to watch it, it will be live streamed on the 7th. So I will do my best to not slip into Alec Guinness during the show, because the most famous version of it, although Stephen Fry has done a wonderful job on it, I believe Sir John Gielgud played it at one point, but Sir Alec Guinness doing it is the one that always stuck in my mind before I was cast to play this.
So I've got a bit of him, running in my voice. It's very hard sometimes not to slip into your Alec Guinness and begin to speak this way, my friend. It's no use, Luke. You'd have been killed too, and the droids would now be in the hands of the Empire. These blast marks, too precise for sand people, even though the rest of the movie, the stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a barn. Never mind the fact they're shooting down a corridor and miss people. Just don't get me started. But
you appear started.
I what?
You appear started.
What, how do you mean?
Don't get me started.
Oh, yes, I am started on it. It is right. Yes, I do have the illusion of being started around me. So anyways, I'm down here doing that, and if you wish to watch it, it's southernshakespearefestival.org has all the information on it, and they have a lovely drawing of me as Malvolio, which is like a classic old art photo, or art drawing of a 1960s Shakespeare poster, which I love, and if anyone gets that tattoo, God help you. Thank you, Aggie. So, and by the way, worldwide, you can watch this because we are mega worldwide. You can actually watch this performance on the 7th. So, very excited about that. And then, of course, rushtix.com. I'm doing a comedy show on May 14th. So tickets are on sale for that as well. Look at me doing real ads for myself. I'm going to learn eventually. I'll get this down. I stink at it. I'm really bad at it. I know a lot of people are way better at it. I'm always impressed. But the right is, and watch how I bring this all home. The right is very good at it. The right is very good at exploiting both YouTube and Twitch and other sites and paying for their stuff through product placement, running ads, getting sponsors, getting advertisers, and flat out having, memberships. Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, all these guys have their own membership groups. They charge admission for these kind of things. And they've been doing this for a while. And if you look at the how well they're doing, because these guys are all millionaires now. They have, over the Trump years and leading up to it, all have become multi-millionaires. Legit multi-millionaires, meaning they own a house. They probably have a studio they go to work at, Glenn Beck millionaires. They have investments. They're buying property. They're putting money into retirement accounts and all this. Not fake billionaires where your debt overwhelms the money you have coming in 10 to 1 or 50 to 1 in some cases in the Trump organization. And Donald Trump and his family are looking to get in on that. So there's been some talk about, we talked about Flank earlier, the Mike Lindell. I almost caught myself. I was about to say the Mike Lindell social media network, which is, according to him, like YouTube meets Twitter, and yet with more freedom, unless you want to say Jesus the Nazarene with an exclamation point, or some sort of, I don't know what emojis are on and off limits. I'm guessing before they're done, the eggplant and the water droplet one will not be allowed. Just saying. I think they will. The peach one will be cast out as filth. I think the donut or bagel one will absolutely be right out. I mean, there's a series of them that my guess there will be a list of unusable emojis on Flank at some point. But Trump and his family have been talking about a social media network of their very own. No word on the name. I think Trumpster is obviously a possibility. If obviously calling it the Donald, do you have an account on the Donald would be part, that would work. It's obviously ridiculous, but sure. Is it any more ridiculous than Frank? And I would argue no. So why are they doing this? Are they doing this because they care about free speech, or that are they going to start this organization, this whatever it is? If Flank is YouTube meets Twitter, is Trumpster going to be Facebook meets VK? VK is the Russian Facebook, by the way, just in case you don't know. I
didn't know.
I've streamed on VK because it's an available thing on Restream, and I'm like, that'd be crazy. Why don't I have it gives me 4 stations I can use, and I'm only using 3, so why not, right? So so sometimes I stream on VK. It's one of the other ways that we're and when I am streaming on VK, there are more marches on the streets in Russia. Coincidence? I think not. But let's say Trump.
I hope so.
Yes, say Trumpster. When it opens, when it launches or whatever, and is going to be and is related to the fact that we are seeing these repeated videos, and I've done a couple of them on my regular live stream over the last little bit, where Don Jr. is doing these little 3-minute, 4-minute videos, and he's posting them on Rumble. Now, my guess is that Trump or someone makes a licensing deal that's not unlike what they do with buildings with Rumble, which is one of the sites where it's where Dan Bongino posts most of his show, and where you'll find Dominant Silk now, and where Don Jr. posts his accounts, where Rumble exists. And then there's BitChute, which is, if you really want to lose faith in humanity, BitChute's where you go. It's where legit Nazis can YouTube, essentially. Legit, like straight up white supremacists. And don't get me wrong, it's a full service offensive service, because there are black supremacists as well, and Asian supremacists. There's fewer of them, but it's a demographic thing more than anything. And there's anti-vaxxers and all that. I mean, it is really BitChute is the violent underbelly of streaming and video posting that Fwank seeks to be. So in many ways, it might be that the Trump organization just reaches a licensing agreement, if passed as prologue, with Rumble or with BitChute or with UgeTube, which UGETUBE dot something or other. You can. I'm not sending you there. Yes, someone's asking in the chat room. Gigi's asking about Chatdit. Chatdit is Diamond and Silk's own social media network that they have, which is members only, and I think costs money. I don't know. I haven't signed up for it because I have no interest in giving them my email address.
Those are the ladies that got banned from Fox News.
Yes, those very ones. The Diamond and Silk. I mean, they're a joy. I'm glad they exist. If only, I suppose, for Frangela to have like a guaranteed draw of sketches that they can do for Sexy Liberal, because these women are insane and they're absurd, and they're supposed to represent the Blexit movement, the black exit from the Democratic Party. We have no information that would make us believe in any way that they were legitimate Democrats to start with, that they didn't always lean Republican in their belief systems, that they weren't, always. I haven't read the book. I'm not about to, because I have no interest. I have, I have a child, so there's only so much time you can waste on folks that are that far off the deep end. But the Trump organization, more than likely, is going to enter into some sort of licensing agreement. My guess would be for Rumble or a sort of swiping of BitChute, because that's what'll happen. Everybody on BitChute will jump over to the Trumpster one. But my belief is, and we got to take a break, but I wanted to tell everybody that maybe leaning towards, and I signed up for a Frank account, or I attempted to. Then I got rebuffed.
Why?
I don't know. I got once I filled out all my stuff, when I hit sign up, it went to a sort of 404 not found kind of a page, but not even that much. It was just kind of like something not specified, tiny little text, upper left corner, blank page. So really low res for supposedly being something he worked on for 4 years and cost him millions of dollars. That said, there is a very strong chance, and I know you're going to hate to hear this, Republicans, maggots, and Trumpsters, there is a very strong chance that Mike Lindell is just trolling you for your phone number. That you have to enter a cell phone number, and it has to be a legit one because they text you a code and you have to text it back, as part of their way of doing it. That he's just gathering stuff for his mystore.com thing so that he can sell you stuff. And if you truly believe in the American capitalist system of old, you have a moral obligation to sign up for Frank and give him your information, and also send money to Donald Trump right now. We'll be back right after this. I gotta say, I really think it's a scam. I was chalking it up to incompetence for a while, which is easy to do. But I gotta say, at this point, it looks like they're just, what a great way to set up a mailing list.
Totally.
And since they know these suckers will stampede to any of this shit, look at what happened with Parler, people who are on, Facebook, are also on Twitter, are also on Instagram, are also on other sites. So the Parlers of the world will join Frank, will join Trumpster. They'll all have 3 accounts. Trump will, of course, say, after he sets up his own thing, he's like Q. He will only be available on his own thing. But Don Jr. will be on all 3. And the same people that are signing up on Trump's site that will sign up on Fwank, that will also, sign up on Parlay for Donald Jr. He'll go, well, I got 20 million on here, 20 million on here, 20 million on here. I got 60 million followers.
Right.
Jesus. So, Hal even... it's going to show fraud. Yeah, right. Good luck with that.
Yep.
Yeah. knock yourself out. Enjoy that fantasy. It's worked out well so far. And thanks, and by the way, thanks trolls for being here, for boosting our numbers. Our numbers have been really great lately, even with the drop off in trolling. So the trolls brought some people to the party. The trolls left for a while. They do come back every so often. I mean, they're spread a little thin these days. I do understand that, you know. But, you know, one day...
Coming back in 10.
Thank you. One day they will get Trump back and they will get everything they ask for from him.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime
Progressive
judges.
Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Here is the
Michigan
Mega Worldwide Radio Program with Hal Sparks.
Michigan gave us Motang.
Welcome back, everybody. And we definitely have a couple of trolls who really think the Arizona thing is going to pan out. I look forward I have always wanted a crow as a pet, so eating one would be out of range. But I could eat a shoe, I suppose, or something along those lines. You know, that kind of thing. I'm very excited about being wrong about this. Because it happens so rarely. You know what I mean? It's like a special treat when I'm wrong, and I'm not.
You could eat your hat. Do you have any good hats?
I don't wear hats, and I have a couple of cool ones, but I just never wear them. It's an odd thing, you know. But, you know, if the dream comes true at some point, if Trump comes back, they'll get everything they wanted from him.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
He's going to stop Joe Biden from, what was he going to do?
Free health care for illegal, look.
Yeah, something along those lines. He will, bring the world together with his understanding of geography.
To me, Corona means Italy.
He'll obviously get to the bottom of all the shenanigans going on in Ukraine.
The company that his son worked for, that's
Burmisma.
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
He'll manage to get, yeah, that's what they say or whatever.
Legal, look.
All right, so anyways, one day it'll all come true.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
All these things. When he had the best words.
And, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
His understanding of physics.
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's heavy.
His knowledge of America.
Yosemites.
And the people who operate. And, of course, his vast knowledge of projectiles.
Bags of soup. Soup for my family.
People
coming over with bags of soup. Big bags of soup.
Yeah, so, and of course, his knowledge of how he's able to address people and what the quality of address should be.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
All right, so and we'll get back to his vaccine distribution program, which was going to be run by the military in parking lots at Walmart. Remember that? Remember, it was all going to be Walmart parking lots, which I don't know why that dried up. I don't know why. Maybe Walmart was sort of like Kim Jong-un. Like once Trump leaves, they're not interested in dealing with the administration anymore. They don't want that anymore. So the big army trucks and the soldiers giving out shots in Walmart parking lots that Trump said was going to happen didn't happen while he was there. Didn't happen after. Didn't happen in the transition between the administrations. It was allegedly something they were going to start in early January. He basically just gave up, I guess, on, it's difficult.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
So there is a...
We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
So overtime... Sorry. Sometimes you just have to remember that he had the best words. You know what I mean? So, and as did everyone around him. So
Perfecto.
So, yes. So while while this, the Arizona shenanigans are going on, and they're trying desperately to bring back Donald Trump as the perfect leader, the man with perfect words. And again, some people will go, "Why don't you make fun of Biden when he mispronounces things, or why don't you make fun of other people when they mispronounce things?" Because they never claimed to have the best words, or know about ISIS better than the generals, or know more about the economy than the economists, they never claimed these extraordinary skills, these extraordinary abilities, and so extraordinary claims have to hold up under under normal scrutiny, just a little bit. Like, if you have the best words, you don't go to Michigan when you're running for president again, because you've done it before, you've had a little practice, and say,
Michigan gave us Motown, gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
And you certainly don't say it like that. Gave us the Mustang. Honestly, if you have the best words, do better.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Now, that is a moment of accidental candor that I think we have to be reminded of during this. And by the way, many of those folks that he was talking about, those pro-crime judges that he couldn't wait to, that he got more of them in than any president in history, because Mitch McConnell made it impossible for Obama to fill a lot of those seats. And Trump thought he was accomplishing something until halfway through his presidency, when he had a meeting with Mitch McConnell, and Mitch McConnell said, "Yeah, we guaranteed those seats were open for you so that you could fill them." And then he had to admit to it, and then he was like, "Oh, that doesn't make me look as good," and then he went back to lying about it. So, that's over time. I can understand why Republicans would want someone back in office.
Wildlife refuges. I mean, you look at this, you look at what we do with our wildlife.
I do it because I have a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there is not a healthy place. So, just to remind everyone that, again, this is a situation where they look forward to this man returning to office, which he is not going to do. Not only is he not going to do it in August, he's not going to run again, and he's certainly not going to win. Just count on it. Just know that as a reality. Not just because he would fail. Not just because right now we're heading into a boom for a while, and while we're going to be fixing some of the deficit issues we've had to deal with over the, since the beginning of the Afghan war, which is effectively what's been eating up tax dollars hand over fist for 20 years, and Joe Biden has called an end to it, that we're getting out by September 11th, by the 20th anniversary of September 11th, we're out of Afghanistan. That's the plan, and it's going to happen. And when that happens, I'm sure all the Republicans will apologize for saying that it couldn't happen, it shouldn't happen, and it won't happen. And that Trump did it when he didn't do it, and that he was going to do it, but he couldn't because it couldn't be done, not because he was incapable of figuring out a way to do it. It was just that it was impossible. Just not possible. So, these are the same people who are looking to, all right, well, if he's not going to be president, then obviously he's going to continue to be an amazingly successful businessman, and he's going to start his own Facebook, his own YouTube, his own whatever, his huge tube. When I said that, I upset myself. Don't say huge tube.
Once it was reluctantly aroused.
It's just not a good idea.
What is it? What is he talking about?
The economy. He was referring to the economy.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
And
do you think it's because he wanted to use the word stimulated, but he couldn't come up with it, and he's like, what's kind of close to that?
Yes, precisely. Because he brain farts all the time. And he'll basically, most of the thoughts happen like this.
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
That's basically the thought process. If there was 2 mics on stage, that's what you would be hearing all the time when he's like, this is the whole, like, he meant, I don't know that he meant we're not going to elect pro-crime judges or appoint pro-crime judges. I think he meant it. It was, like I said, I think that's more of a Freudian slip than anything else. But we have, we got to take a break. When we come back after this, it's the happy ending. And there are a few.
Ooh.
There's a few. We're back to actually having moments where we can call them, like, happy? Is that what this feeling is?
Happy?
Is this feeling? What is this feeling that comes up at me? What is? I don't recognize it anymore. It is so very strange.
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
We'll be back. So, did we have callers, by the way? Because I didn't hear from...
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple, okay. Yeah. I didn't ask.
Moon River.
Okay. I'm having too much fun. So, yeah. Okay. You remember when he had the testing, when he brought out the testing devices, and it was like this weird little QVC moment that Trump had, and he held it, it was upside down. The whole thing, the whole machine was upside down, and they put it there, like either he turned it upside down, or they literally, the people in charge brought it out and put the thing upside down on the table.
What kind of testing thing?
It was like a COVID testing, an antigen testing,
okay.
Antibody testing machine. Jesus. Is it a Doppler effect? Yeah. The dead pixel on Johnny's camera says it is officially... Do we have a dead pixel? Where's a dead pixel? Do you have a dead pixel?
Oh.
Or is it a dead pixel on my end? Is it in the camera? Where is it? Oh, or do you mean... I don't know. Oh, yeah, there's some... no, what is that? Is that on this... I don't see it on there. So is it in the... Is there something over the...
Back in 20.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know. Weird. Curious. I had to dial down the green in my thing to cut me out a little better because the lighting in here is not good. So I'm totally pink. My eyes are pink. I like. There's no white at all. Like my white balance is awful.
Mega Worldwide. It's now time for the happy ending.
Yay! We have a couple callers, so I actually want to get to those real quick. Stop it. By the way, your nose laugh snort sounds exactly like the fart sound effect I have from Clumps. It's almost exactly. I
can't do it when I'm not laughing for real.
I know. I would never ask you to fake it.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
River.
So I guess one of the primary ones is that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is a one and done, has been the pause has been lifted and it is being approved for usage again. There were 15 total cases about this blood clot. It is a treatable thing. I think a lot of us, when we heard blood clot related to this, that it was either a permanent change, a change that kills you, or something along the lines of a stroke. from a brain standpoint, and apparently that is not the case. So it is a treatable thing, which means they just have to monitor some people who might be susceptible to this. In, I believe, 8 million doses. Is that what it was? Yeah, 8 million doses. There were 15 cases. Most of them, the label notes that most cases of the clotting disorder have occurred in women between the ages of 18 and 49. So if you're between the ages of 18 and 49, I have my girlfriend who falls in that age range. Out of deference to her and my love for her, I will not tell you where in that range she is, because she might punch me in the head. She had Pfizer, as did I, and not only no side effects, but we didn't even feel the couple of days of misery or headaches or any of that kind of stuff at all. That I have friends who've had it, but that we didn't experience any of those things. Initially, 6 women had developed severe disorders from this out of the 8 million. There are lots of reasons, by the way, that you can get those blood clots. And women in that age range are also more apt to get them. So whether this is a causation or correlation thing, it was not known. And that's what the pause was for. I don't know that it is clearer that it is caused versus correlated, because it's so rare. You could hardly argue that in 8 million people, something that happens to 15 million people who've had the same experience as 8 million other people, that true causation is there, unless you have a direct linkage and you know that, it's a genetic thing, it's related to blood type and body and blood pH level or something, where you can directly tie it, where those elements were the factor in the age range and the hormonal thing. That's a lot of factors to squeeze out of 15 people in terms of 8 million other people who have it. So the panel voted 10-4 to resume the use of the vaccine with a warning label. Now, I don't know if they voted 10-4 for the warning label or to use it again, and it passed 10-4 if it had a warning label. That's not clear from the article or anything that I've read. So there's a variance, as there often is. There are 3 variable possibilities in this. That they voted 10-4 to reissue it, they included a warning label, they voted 10-4 to include the warning label, or they voted 10-4 and it only passed because they included a warning label. They couldn't get 10-4 unless they included the warning label, right? So those are the possibilities. That's I'm sure there are other ones I'm not thinking of currently, but those are there. But some of the panel voters members who voted no, wanted a more prominent risk about women, younger women, age 18 to 49, on the warning label, and the availability of other COVID vaccines that do not appear to pose the same risk. So they voted no about doing that. They wanted more of a warning label than the one that was on there. That said, they still voted for its general use everywhere else. And I think, and I'm curious what, maybe we'll learn over the next couple of weeks, if women in that age range are leaning more towards, say, Pfizer or Moderna in getting it. The interesting thing is, curiously enough, is that in terms of what the breakdown is male to female in people who are getting the vaccine, and this might line up with the sense that women are more responsible and men would rather get things over with, is the idea that men tend to lean more towards getting the J&J, one and done. Sounds like a bumper sticker on a truck in that regard. And women tend to be more like, well, I'll get this I'm capable of making 2 appointments and being at both of them. So they're comfortable signing up for and getting the Pfizer and Moderna, even though that requires you to remember where you've got to be in 3 weeks. Yep. So there is there is reasoning behind that women, even in that age range that might be concerning, will be more apt to do that. So let's grab. I think we got time at least for one of the callers. So let's try to grab this on our way out the door, just as a happy ending on that one thing. But yeah. I wanted to talk about that, and those women that should be informed about this. Like I said, my girlfriend got the Pfizer vaccine. She is in that age range, and she had no negative experiences except for a little sight soreness. So that's anecdotal. Take that with what you take that as you will. Yes. But who do we have first on the line?
We have David from North Miami Beach.
Oh, right on, David. Now, you're in Florida as well. We're both live from Florida. Hey, David. Is he there? I don't hear him.
I guess not. Let's go to Dondo from Pennsylvania.
All right. Dondo in Pennsylvania. Hey, Dondo, welcome. Oh, wait. Is it Gonzo?
Oh, it's Gonzo.
Yeah, it's Gonzo. That's what I thought. I was like, Dondo.
I like
Gonzo. Hooray. Yes, Gonzo, Dondo is your sidekick. Apparently, it's your half human, half bulldog sidekick that fights crime with you. So,
hey, what's going on?
Hi. Now? You doing well?
I'm well. I just took a break. Anyway.
Understood.
Hey, I got the Arizona thing I wanted to chime in on, too.
Yeah.
The Arizona thing, even if they were to the 10,500 votes to flip those, it doesn't flip the election. They still need like 3 other states.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything in the overall election.
Yeah. Not only won't it work, but it won't work.
Right.
Yeah.
It won't work. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And so I wanted to point out Herschel Walker is really thinking about running in Georgia and has Trump's backing.
Right.
I didn't know if you knew that.
Yes.
But that's really becoming a prominent thing, and Republicans are kind of getting scared because he doesn't seem to really have much of a chance because he's really not very qualified to do it. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about, and this was probably the most important thing, is that I was wanting to get your opinion on, was the vote on D.C. becoming the state that they had this week.
Right.
And how they have basically 170,000 more citizens than Wyoming, and why wouldn't the Senate approve them if they're citizens paying taxes? Is it just because of them being racist towards it? That's what the article I read.
Well, there's always this feeling. Yeah, as Chris Rock refers to DC as Chocolate City. There's a reason why Republicans fear the idea that DC will suddenly automatically become another 2 Democratic Senate seats. And they have. Here's the problem: the Republicans currently have a lopsided representation in the Senate. Because red states like Wyoming and Montana and Idaho that have fewer people, Los Angeles has just the Los Angeles proper, the actual city, not even the county. The city itself has 3 times as many people as Montana does, and so and LA doesn't have 2 senators representing that landmass, and the amount of it's the 7th largest economy on earth. DC. Here's the issue with DC. DC, beyond the fact that it used to be part of Maryland and that it was carved off as part of to be the capital of the country, not an actual sitting, not a city of note in that regard. It was a support structure for the government. Was the idea that if you made it a state, because the government is there, that's too much federal control over those 2 Senate seats, was sort of the fear of the founding fathers in that regard. And so it became a District of Columbia. It was left up to God, one of the deities in some ways. And so it's its own kind of legal entity. The current Republicans, they're afraid of black people getting 2 senators.
But they were also not supposed to have anybody supposed to live in the District of Columbia.
Right.
You weren't supposed to have any residency. Right. And that changed.
Yes.
So all these people that actually live there and pay taxes there now are basically falling under that whole taxation without representation.
Yeah,
so,
except on a there's a bunch of back and forth about that because they also benefit from the taxes of other people in a way that we don't. Like if you and I want a road that needs to be repaired, for example, in our state, our representatives have to go and fight for that, and we'll give all the tax dollars we want, but we may not even get that. DC gets everything it wants as far as infrastructure goes, or any of those things, because it houses the conduit from the Capitol skiffs to the Pentagon, right? So there is no substructure of it that's denied on a taxation level. So they get benefits without that representation that other people don't. So they don't have to clamor for it the way we do. There's no farm bill that affects Washington, D.C. It is beyond those kind of things, right? So it's not going to pass the Senate.
I don't see any of that changing.
Right. It's not going to pass the Senate.
I don't see any of that changing with it becoming a state. Because all those politicians are still going to go in and out of D.C.
Right.
And they're still going to want all those perfect roads. They're not going to want to drive on bumpy roads.
Agreed. So the idea is that it basically just becomes a social policy senator seat in that regard. So that's why they're pushing back against it. My issue with DC becoming a state ultimately is because it is effectively a city. It is ridiculous. I think the opposite should be true. I think Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Arkansas arguably should all share 2 senators to make it fair, as opposed to adding DC. But I also believe that we have more of a chance of Puerto Rico becoming a state. I think that's easier to ratify as a territory. It is much closer to what happened with Hawaii, and I think the Republicans will push back against it, but we are paying all that. It is a territory of the United States that is highly populated, that has a lot of international travel and national travel back and forth to it. There's certain benefits, but you don't get any representation in that regard, except you get House representation, but no senators. I think DC might be the warning shot, and Puerto Rico is the actual bill that gets passed. We're out of time. I overran the break. Thanks so much for calling, Gonzo. Hope you're well. Wish your wife love for me. I know she's a teacher, and I hope she's safe in her work. And thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. And sorry I ran over, and okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, sorry, Chicago. I just breezed past that. Appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And that's, I blame Gonzo, so it's fine. This is so. Let me see. Let me go over here. And Herschel Walker's not going to. I mean, the problem the Republicans have is that they know in certain districts the only way they're going to win is if they run a black person, because they think that fixes the gaps in what they do. But they're not willing to change what they do to black people to do it. So they're not going to change the voting, the ability to vote. They're going to push back against that entirely. They're going to try and disenfranchise every black voter they can possibly do, and then try to run a black person when they know that the vast majority of the people that they have in their party started becoming Trumpsters, started being anti-establishment, right-wing libertarian psychopaths because Barack Obama got elected.
Yep.
Because of a black president. So it's the Puerto Rican statehood thing. If Puerto Rico becomes a state, there is no argument that they couldn't turn those people into Republicans, because a lot of Latino people are conservative in their viewpoints. A lot of them are pro-life Catholics, and so there's every reason to believe you could talk them into becoming single-issue voters. They just don't want them because they're brown. And they don't want to have to go to the party. What's the point of having your little Tucker Carlson country if you have to let brown people in to get it, right? That's the problem. And that's the Herschel Walker.
The sound of that.
That's the Herschel Walker problem or whatever. And I guess, in the immortal words of Tucker Carlson,
I like wood.
So
deeper and longer
than, so. Anyways, I'll let you go, Johnny Million. I'm going to go run lines as well. I'm not going to do much of a post show today, although I do have some treats for my patrons. I'm going to be posting some 360 videos tomorrow of rehearsals from this week. Before, as I was getting off book and stuff, I brought my 360 camera. So you'll be able to you'll be able to watch by, if you have 360 viewer, you can watch it that way. But if you're on YouTube and you can use your mouse, you'll be able to use your mouse on the screen to move it around and just see the set and see everything.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and once we get into the actual space and they built it and we do a run through, I'm gonna try and post my camera in an area where you'd be able to see most stuff, and so people can watch that way as well. Since a crappy camera from way back on the soundboard is no way to watch it.
No.
If I can move it that close, I will. So yeah, black people using black people using democracy to their benefit, and Glenn Beck loses his shit. That's exactly right. I mean, honest to God, this whole
stop using the word democracy.
And I don't, I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous.
I like wood.
So,
Did you see that picture of Ben Shapiro at Home Depot holding the piece of wood?
Oh yeah, boy,
it's like he's an alien. It was.
I bought a piece of wood and I have it in a bag.
It's like a weird plank in a plastic grocery bag.
Right, I know. I'm putting up a shelf because I'm going to do a shelf. I mean, this is because I can understand that Black Lives Matter can't even put up a shelf. He's like the Lilliputian version of Mark Levin. They both have this kind of voice that I don't understand. Yeah, we're the macho party. We're the macho guys. We're totally macho. We're the macho guys, and we're very macho, and we're the toughest and the strongest.
But I don't understand how Home Depot works.
Yeah, right. Usually I go to Lowe's, but in this case, I made a special exception.
You know what? I'm actually, when we leave here, I am going to go to Home Depot, I'm going to buy some potting soil.
Commie.
And
you probably got to start your own pineapple farm, you Jim Jones Marxist.
That's right. You know what we're going to do? We're going to plant pumpkins in our front yard, and I'm very excited about it.
For real?
For real.
That's amazing.
Not like we've got this weird section of grass. It's like right outside the door, but before you get into the yard proper.
Right. I love that.
And we're going to put fucking pumpkins in there.
And are you going to have a big prize winner? Am I going to see you at the state fair with the world's largest pumpkin?
I sure as hell hope so.
Oh, Johnny Million and his
I'm going to go out there and pee on them every morning.
His blue ribbon pumpkins. What's your secret? You're an ant.
You're an
right. You're an ant. Don't say ant. Don't say ant. And what?
All right, my man. Well, good luck running lives today.
Thank you. I will do everything I possibly can to lock my lines over the next 2 days with my fellow actors, so our timing is really good. Because this is, Shakespeare is got a musical aspect to it, and it's been a long while since I've had to do iambic pentameter. I'm just saying,
Iambic pentameter
outside the bedroom. Five heartbeats. I'm done. So, because that's iambic pentameter. So there you go. Just in case you ever wondered how to do it. Yeah. Anyways, awesome. You're awesome. Love you. See you later. Bye-bye. Say bye to the chat room. Remember. Bye, chat room. Bye. Yes. Bye, Motang people. There you go.
Motang.
I'll play it on your way out. Hold on. I'm playing the hold.
Michigan gave us Motang. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
Thanks, Johnny Million. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, chat room. Okay, thanks, guys. Today I got myself cut out of the green screen a little better. I got to get rid of some of the pinky orange. But other than that, I'll fix it. And bye. Aloha, Lynette. Thank you so much, Grant. Thank you, Pam. Thanks, everybody. Let me pull this thing up and try here. And then I'll do this. And where am I? Oh, yeah. Here. This guy. Put the screen over here. Look over here. Go to my YouTube dashboard. Make sure everything's not falling apart. And then I'll sign off proper like a grown person. This will be easier. I look like Glenn Beck today. Wait. Oh, why? I need a big woody background or thing. Yeah. I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be around. There is just for the record. Some people think I'm being kind of sarcastic and silly and whatever. I don't know where you would get the idea that I'm being silly ever. But for the record. I'm not kidding about the absolute brutal failure of this of the recount situation, and the fact that because I mean, it's crap anyways. But the fact that it loses its credibility because they're using blue and black pens for days. Thank you, Michelle. And look at that. By the way, guys, thank you so much too. We are adding somewhere between 10 and 15 viewers to our chat just on YouTube almost every 3 days. I guess every 3 days, something like that. It's stacking up with some regularity. It's a nice thing to see. Well, obviously, people rotate in and rotate out, and it's good for those of you that are with us on some, regular basis. But the stream is healthy, and my viewer activity is strong, and you guys are here, and there we go. And thank you, Michelle, and thank you, everybody, for the super chats today and the support. Thank you to our new patrons. We're working out the tech aspects of how to get the live stream to you. But I think we should be all good. And then, like I said, I'm going to be posting some 360 video tomorrow night. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow night because we have to do the read-throughs and stuff. So I want to finish it doing that or whatever. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks everybody who helped out today and filled up the little tip jar right here. This little guy right here. That happens every time somebody joins and whatever. I don't know how this got small again. This guy? Ding. Oh. Summer is sending me cat pictures. Oh my God, they're adorable. Oh, good Lord. These things are so cute. And the purring. And they're just, they ate. She's got, oh my God. Oh, it's adorable. Hold on. Let me see if I can share one of the pictures. She's buried under 4 cats, so she can't get up because they're all asleep on her. I'll see if I can. Hold on, let me grab one of these in here and go in here. Look, oh gosh, these guys. Hold on, let me see. Where do I open this guy up? Put this here. Move this over here. Put this down here. I think I gotta move some stuff around so I can show this to you guys. Because, they're so cute. Stretch, you stupid picture. Damn. Okay, oh well. Alright. This is, I think it's on here. There they are. Okay, here are the little guys. Look at these little things. Look at them. They just passed out. He's just like, oh God. My belly is so full. Look at that guy. Look at that. That's Peaches and Cherry. They were named. I'm not quite sure. Peaches had this one I think is Cherry, and I mean I don't know. I'm sure there was reasoning, but Peaches, the other one, the one that's like, oh my God, this is awesome, has a like a blondish peach colored stripe on its nose right here. And it's totally adorable. Oh my gosh, this one too. Look at this little guy. Look at that one. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Gersh. This one, I don't know which one this one is. I think this one's Garfield, but I'm not sure. Although not nearly fat enough. Look at that thing. They're all bottle fed, so they're the sweetest little things. And they do nothing but purr and snuggle. Bottle fed cats love people. So, just look at it. It's just so brutally cute. Ah, little guy. So adorable. So they're being fostered. They haven't gotten their shots yet. They're big enough now, so they'll get their shots this week sometime. Summer's got to take our cats for their checkups, and so she's going to be basically like carrying these 2 cat carriers without me there. I'm very jealous. So anyway, so these are these little adorable beasts. That's just so. Can we just all just enjoy that for a minute? And that's sweet. Just passed out. And that's Camden's pillow, by the way. That's my kid's pillow. It's just like, this is not mine. I own this. But of course, right now, Molly and let's see if I can, hold on. can I show you where? I think she sent me a picture of this too. So Molly and Maddie are So for those of you who don't know, Molly and Maddie are, Maddie was a rescue, and Molly was a feral that we took in, and they look at these little guys. They are. That's my pillow, not my pillow, but my actual Hal's pillow. They sleep on my side of the bed on my pillow while I'm gone, because I give pets early in the morning, because I'm good like that. Before I get up and get summer coffee, Murphy comes up and starts meowing, and I have to, so he doesn't wake her up, I have to pet him so he'll stop meowing. Then I literally give him massive pets till he's irritated, and then he leaves. And then once he's gone, the other two come up for their round. And Maddie will sometimes run him off, or they'll fight over who gets pets from me. And then Molly follows Maddie wherever she goes. So Molly wants to be Maddie's best friend, and Maddie's having none of it. It's such like a high school drama. But wherever Maddie is laying down or sleeping, Molly will come up and just lay near her like, hey, we're buddies, right? We're totally buddies. Aren't we buddies? We're totally friends. We're totally friends. You know what I mean? We're like totally friends. We were like, remember when we were hanging out? We were so fun. Remember all the fun we had? And Maddie's like, can you please, if you'll excuse me, I have cat things to do. I have to go knock some things off the counter, and then I have to look graceful as I'm walking and then fall off a ledge. I'm busy. Remember when we were doing cool stuff? So they both sleep on my actual pillow where I sleep. So now you know. There you go. So the cats are enjoying. Apparently, while the mouse is away, the cats will sleep, I guess. So they're done with me. They've had enough. It's just sad. So anyways, I'm gonna sign off, go do some work, and then I've got rehearsals again tonight. I will gather some more footage tonight as well, and then possibly a little at the rehearsal tomorrow, and then I'll see if I can edit it onto the stuff I'm gonna post. I may put music over a good portion of it, because I don't want other people's line readings and stuff like that I don't have permission to give that away and stuff. So yeah. Does Johnny know about his calf, Hal? Wondering. I told him, Amy. I told him. He was very happy. He was very excited. So ciao, you guys. Thank you. Will I get some sleep tonight? Probably. Well, yeah. Hopefully. If I can fall asleep. My body clock is still on Pacific time, which is really weird. That makes doing this show easier and makes everything else slightly harder. Getting up normally, right? So anyways, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've never been here before. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. Or a thumbs down if you hate this show and you think the Arizona Recount's going to install Trump as president. Please give a thumbs down, because YouTube does not care about how you feel about the show. It just loves your eyeballs. And I appreciate them because of the extra, 4 cents a year in ad revenue that I get. and the boost in the algorithm is really the dead giveaway. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody on Facebook, by the way, for the stars. Thank you guys so much for your support there. Memberships are on there, yes, as well. And then, of course, you can become a member on YouTube as well as a way of supporting the show. And if you want to become a member on Twitch, you can use Amazon Prime. Doesn't cost you anything. If you're an Amazon Prime member, anyways. Use Amazon Prime. Doesn't cost you a dime. All right, I will see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I'll see you. I will probably see you guys as a pop-on tomorrow night as I upload that stuff. And then definitely Monday regular show. So have a great weekend if I don't see you, and take care of yourself, and okay, bye.
I like wood.
Oh, yeah, that's normal. What?
Great to be with you, Dick.
All right. So much for that.
Deeper and longer.
I don't know. I'm not good with that.
I like wood.
This isn't social media. This is Trump media.
There goes Gigi. There goes Gigi. There goes Gigi.
Yeah, no, she's crazy. She is totally nuts.
What?